Ed Tyll Show. Welcome.
Hey, this is Rob from Orlando. How you doing?
This is Rob in Orlando. Is that right? Did I hear that right?
You got it, Ed, and I'm happy I finally found out your station, and I'm happy you're back on the air.
Oh, my God.
On the air.
Do you know, you have no idea. I probably tell you this ad nauseum. Every time you're on, you go, why doesn't he stop saying this 100 times over? But I have to say it because it's true. I love talking to you. I love it. The minute I hear the energy, it gets me all excited, and you've been listening for quite some time to me. So you get me right away. We're on opposite sides of the politics. I couldn't love that more. I love all my Democrat friends. I have liberal Democrat friends all over New York, all over the Northeast. Love you, love them. So anyway, welcome aboard. Nice to hear your voice.
And like I said, I'm very happy to hear your voice on the air, and you're a great presence to have on the air. We need somebody that, I need somebody that I can go back and forth with. But I called in because I wanted to talk to you about the AOC, Illhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, feisty stuff with Trump and the tweet.
Yeah, you know, I'm so glad you named her up front, because you've hit on what really irked me. I played on the show yesterday, most of, not all of, and I still have more to play on it. But their first group interview, the Squad, sitting with Gail on CBS this morning, and they all were somewhat annoying. I think I like Pressley the most. The worst is either Omar or Tlaib. But since you mentioned Tlaib, let's talk about her sentence, her phrase, her choice of words was, this is the way I am, and I don't apologize about how I am. Now, maybe I got that wrong. Maybe you want to clarify. But I was so put off by how she was so clinging to her. I didn't hear anything about a movement. I didn't hear anything about liberating anybody. I didn't hear anything about helping anybody. I heard her say that she was proud that she was taking personal shots and she'd be taking more. Am I misreading her?
Right. Well, you know what? What's good about what I'm for the Squad, and we do have different beliefs, and we fought in the past on here about that. But what I with her, and I think the whole Squad in general, is that they do stand up for what they believe. And I think that the whole Trump thing, and we'll get more deep into this, but the Trump thing and this tweet, so remember, Trump wasn't even involved in this. This was a fight between AOC and Nancy Pelosi about the border funding, and that group of Democrats, along with 95 other Democrats, voted against that bill that went from the Senate that they voted on. So Trump kind of got into this and went back and forth with her. Now, I know that, and we talked about this in the past, and I actually put this on my YouTube channel when me and you were on the air talking about when Illhan Omar, when she came into the Congress, that she was wearing her hijab, and me and you went back and forth, if you remember about that, on your program. But it's the same sort of thing. These women of color stand up for who they are. They're progressive Democrats. They're for free college. They're for who they are. And we should want, as I talked to you last time, we should want people like this in Congress, people that stand up for what they believe in, people that are different. America is a country of all sorts of faiths, of all sorts of backgrounds. We should want everybody representative of all these different faiths. Plus, Ed, remember, this country is diverse, and the Democratic House is very diverse, and we should want people of faith, of Christianity, of course, which we are, and Islamic faith, Jewish faith, Hinduism, all the faith, even agnostic people.
Well, look, you know what? I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but let's check her behavior against what you are saying that I agree with, okay? She's got a blind spot, an anger, and a hatred for Israel. She's got it. And I've heard every liar in my life from the age of 12 to 112. When they're lying about that, I know what I'm looking for. Because when it came out spontaneously, she hates Israel. When she found out what it sounded like to the rest of the country, how she said it, she backed up. But I don't see any decency, human decency, compassion. I don't feel any humanity from her ever when she speaks. Like when I go back to her big speech about some people did something, and she's trying to say there was never an organization for Islamic rights before, and that wasn't even true. CARE did exist before 9/11. So I don't find her like a nice girl who maybe is a little too hopped up, gets a little ahead of herself, but is basically a nice girl. I see a vindictive little, pain in the butt who doesn't like, in general, who America is, but is, I get the sense, she, like many people, they feel forced to genuflect at America because of the size, the power, the freedom, the Constitution, the influence in history, et cetera, et cetera. So she seems like somebody who doesn't want to really be here unless this place were completely renovated to her liking, which seems to include that there's a justified payback for America's past. Whether it's slavery or founding of Israel, America's got to pay. Yeah, I don't go for any of this. I don't like it. So go ahead. You hear me. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes. Well, let's backtrack. What you said about her being anti-Semitic, first of all, it's totally not true. When she made that comment all about the Benjamins, that wasn't about thing. Remember, they did the same stuff to my guy, Bernie Sanders. Politico came out with a hit piece with him and saying he's got all these houses and he's got this big nose and stuff.
Well, that's the point. That's the point. Now you hit on it. Now you hit on that point. Not to cut you off. You're going to have plenty of time here. But that's the key point right there. That's the key point right there. You got it. So now, what about that? What do we do with that? I believe that you're on the nub of what's important. What are we supposed to do with her now on that point?
Well, that was about, I was talking about what they did to Bernie Sanders in the political.
Well, what I'm saying is she started it with the Benjamins. You said it, and Bernie's been tagged the same way. This is I heard this when I was a kid, the Jews and the money. Anybody who goes Jews and money, if you're going to say Albert Einstein, Albert Schweitzer and money, if you're going to say Joel Schumacher and what you said, oh no, I didn't mean it that way. You damn well did. She damn well did. If I say, oh, you know what, I was talking about black guys, I was talking about the size of their penis, there would be a riot. What are you talking about? Every black guy, a penis? Yeah, same old thing. People that don't like other people from a distance find things that are fun to say about them. They think they're somewhat true, and that makes it. So what are we doing here? She's engaging a young, intelligent person in something 2-3 generations ago used to engage in, and she would say she's totally against all that.
Okay, well, let me go back. So maybe she said the wrong words with all about the Benjamins, but the point was with that, it's not as anti-Semitic. I mean, we've seen that pretty much every Democratic candidate, even Bernie Sanders, who is a Jew, didn't go to AIPAC. We see every AIPAC conference, and this is my party, the Democratic Party, where the Democratic Party, and even the Republican Party too, but as much the Democratic Party, they are a sellout to the Jewish lobby. That we have to, it's almost like it's the United States of Israel. Now, I'm saying Israel is our ally in this country, and we should treat them with respect. So what about the Palestinians, too? And what she said about the al-Qaeda thing that Trump brought up in his speech last night in Greenville, North Carolina, which they put words into her mouth. What she said about al-Qaeda and stuff like that is somewhat even true. which we go and meddle. We've talked about this on your program before. This country goes and meddles in the Middle East and puts their leaders in. Look what they did in Iran in the 50s. Iran was a democracy.
But, I gotta jump in here, all right? I feel you. I think this is a sincere concern. But if you look at these examples, now you just jumped into Iran, right? I loved Iran up until 79. Who wouldn't love Iran? Right. You love the Shah. You know why you love the Shah? Because you're wearing jeans, you're watching TV, you're dancing with your girlfriend, you're making out in the car, you're living like an American in Iran. All of a sudden, these clowns come in, they take people hostage, put guns to people's heads, and they've been living with these clowns ever since. Now, is Islamic faith clownhood? No. I respect everybody's religion. I don't. Right. I've looked at the Quran, and I don't see any justification for any of this ISIS or Al-Qaeda. It's the same thing when a guy reads the Old Testament of the Christian Bible, and then he burns an abortion clinic. He shoots an abortion doctor. Lunatic on one side, lunatic on the other. Lunatics don't count with me. I don't judge Christians by lunatics or Islamics by lunatics. But what am I supposed to do here? What I got to defend me first. He, the president, is right. He's absolute. There is nothing racist about saying to someone, you should go back to your own country. Go back to your own country. Nothing racist. There is, you may say it's unfriendly. Yes, I want him to be unfriendly to her. I don't want her ever treated friendly. I don't want her ever welcomed anywhere. You treat her unfriendly. You don't punch her in the face. She's got rights. You don't break her jaw. But you say to her, you don't like it, leave. Oh, you're insulted by. You say to her, are you? You say to her, are you insulted by that? Yes, I am. Say, why do you think you're being insulted? Why would an intelligent person take the time to insult you? Why do you think you're hearing? Go home. You like to wear the headdress? Go over there. You like to pray like that? Go over there. We're not going to change into you. We're not changing into you. So if the way we're managing this bothers you that much, what are we supposed to do? Roll over and say, well, how would you like to redesign the country for us? What are we supposed to do? What is the right way to work with her? On what level could you conceive that she said what she said, and you say, all right, look, here's some middle ground. Let's work with her on what? I don't think she likes that a bunch of guys, 1776, think now that they're the smartest people in the world. Oh, this America, who do they think they are? We could have done this. They had the continents. They had the oceans. They had the boats. They had the woman bankrolling Christopher. She's going to do this routine. You deconstruct everything so that everything here sucks. America sucks. America's no good. America's racist. America is a disparity of wealth. It's a bunch of poor people living next to billionaires. It's all lies. None of this is true, but that is what I surmise off of her.
Right. Well, let me jump in. First of all, Trump, what you said about Trump not being racist, first of all, every woman on stage was poor woman. They're all U.S. citizens. First of all, Illhan Omar came to this country as a refugee, but she is a U.S. citizen. She's a naturalized citizen. AOC is a citizen. And so is Rashida Tlaib. So all those people that are on stage, they're all U.S. citizens. So that is all totally false. That to go back to their own country,
just remember one thing. One thing, I'm going to just say one word. Benedict Arnold also was a citizen. Citizens do all. Charles Manson was a citizen. So don't say citizenship guarantees nothing. You could be a citizen serial killer, citizen serial rapist. Jeffrey Epstein is a citizen, or Harvey Weinstein's a citizen. So you can be a citizen and you could be a despicable human being that we would be better off without. Okay? That's not a short list. Despicable human beings that are citizens that we would be better without. Wrong?
Right. She's making valuable points, Ed. She's saying that this stuff. first of all, when we go into these countries, we do create terrorists because they're going and blowing up. If your family lived in Iraq and we went in there and blew that crap out of your family and blew them up, yeah, you would be pissed off and you would probably want to come over here and blow. So, I mean, that's true. That's just factual information. That's not somebody that's sticking up.
All right. Well, you know what? I take your point. I think that's an excellent point. I will submit to you, alongside of the example you just gave, is the guy that owned the deli when I was a kid, a German who felt enormous guilt about Germany, but try to move forward. He was strangled by where he came from. He couldn't do it. Hung himself in his delicatessen a few doors down from my building. So you can't really just shake it off. When you come from something, it's on you when you get here. And she pretends like nothing she says is wrong or hurtful. She's a very vindictive, hurtful, nasty human being. I think that's what he doesn't like about her in the White House. He doesn't like people who enjoy disliking us or the country or the, races. The people who enjoy crapping all over us. I think Kellyanne Conway said it the other day. You get fed up with them. You're ready to go smack them in the face. You're ready to say, shut the hell up and get out of here. I've had it with you. I understand that.
Well, my thing is with the president's words. The president does these rallies like he did last night, and he goes after people, calls people, and it's almost like he would have been a hell of a stand-up guy as a stand-up comedian. He would have been amazing with that. But he goes into his rallies, and he does the same pretty much stand-up, same as 2016, except he lists what he believes are accomplishments, which I believe are not. But he goes in there and says all this stuff. He goes after these women. Look at these people that Obama and Bush didn't like, but did they go to these rallies and say all this stuff, get out of the country and stuff like that? No, they didn't. They didn't like people. They didn't get along with people, but they didn't go to their rallies and say all this stuff. You can be civil and have a disagreement with somebody. That's what I'm talking about. What her freedom
I think you hit on it right there. I think that she has crossed the civility line, and that gives. And I think that. Well, I was just going to say. Let me finish the sentence. I think that gives him license to squash her publicly. Once you say certain things, I'm allowed to unload. That's America. I mean, it's First Amendment. That's me listening. One thing about him, he's old. He's an older guy. He's a white guy with too much money. You can say all this stuff. He knows how to listen. He hears things before even the mainstream media are behind him a half a day sometimes. He'll pick up on something. Did you see the other day he said that he saw some report? He goes, I don't know if it's true or not. He goes, but I saw a report that she married her brother. I said, way to go. Way to go. She would throw that at you without thinking, I'm glad you threw it at her first. That's him sticking up for us.
That came out false.
Was that? Say it again.
That came out false about her and the blonde.
Oh, so far it is. So far it's false. Well, from what? From what? CNN? Yeah, I'm sure CNN. I'm sure CNN would do a legitimate investigative report on that. I'm sure I could trust MSNBC and Brian Williams on finding out the truth. Oh, dude,
I don't trust those people either. You know that, Ed. Even though I'm a progressive.
No, you know what? I love you.
The Democratic Party does either.
Dude.
I don't like Hillary Clinton. Not a fan of Barack Obama either.
Yep. No, let me tell you something. I will say this loud and proud. You are sharp as a tack. I have not heard you in any of these conversations, and we've had a number now. I've never heard you get taken in. You got to hold on to that. I hope you have kids. You better have about 3 or 4 kids and populate this joint, because the problem is too many people in your age bracket and younger are willing to take what they'd like to be true and just run with it. Then they find out 3 days later, it wasn't this, it wasn't. You have never, galloped off on one of these half-baked deals because you wanted it to be true. Now, I have a great respect for you on that because it's easy to go the other way. It even can be more fun. You get invited to more parties being more Chicken Little, but you are not like that at all. Yeah.
Well, what I like about you and all your shows is that you come on there, me and you disagree, but in the end, we can find some common ground, and we do agree on a few things. We might not agree on everything. And you do give the person that's the viewer or the caller, you give them their time to say their piece, and then we go back and forth, and in the end, we can say we agree on a few things, but we disagree on a few things, but we can always come together at the end. But Ed, I really do appreciate you on this time. And if I could I just plug the interview that I have with you on my podcast?
Absolutely, and plug your podcast as well when it drops. How often? Let's do it, and we absolutely want to enjoy your work. Go ahead.
Right, so I do a podcast for everybody that's listening. We did a podcast with Ed, and it's all talking about the radio industry and his long and all of his stuff. He's been all over the world and all over the country, and all of his radio stuff. So definitely go to on YouTube. It's Conversations with Rob. And when you go on that, I just did an interview with a congressional candidate from 2018, Richard Ojeda. He ran in 2020, short-lived for president of the Democratic Party. And I also just did an interview with Lincoln Chafee, who was one of the only Republican in the U.S. Senate to vote for the Iraq War. So we have a lot of interviews, along with one of my favorite interviews, obviously, with Ed Tyll, who I loved, and I've been calling you for quite a while now, and I will keep following you and keep listening and keep calling in because, like I said, I love our fight, and I love listening to you, go back and forth with people, and you always bring knowledge and power to any kind of radio station or any kind of radio environment that you're in. So definitely go to Conversations with Rob on YouTube, everybody, and keep listening to Ed. We need more Ed Tyll shows on. More people like Ed, actually, in the radio industry, because we have a lot of people that just kind of are like CNN, like you said, they just blah.
Yeah, look, you know what? Honestly, man, I used to work for a guy in the early 1980s, and he wrote the news for Cronkite. He was a big-time journalist, and by the time I worked for him, he was like in his 50s, and he would always say to me, because, the biggest misconception out there is that there's no room at the top. He goes, no matter what is ever happening in baseball, broadcasting, it doesn't matter, journalism, art, it doesn't matter. There's always room at the top. If you absolutely love it and you want to do it to the best of your ability and you have some kind of skills or talents to work with, there's always going to be room there. And I agree with that 1,000% as much as the first time I heard it. And Rob, I think it's you. You are a part of what's breaking away from all the bilge. There's a lot of podcasting out there. It's horrible listening. But the truth is, you get it, you do it, and that's why we do enjoy having you on the show. Thank you for the visit today. You're always welcome. And one more time, I see you're still there. One more time, tell people where they can go to listen to your podcast. Go ahead.
Right. It's Conversations with Rob. CONVERSATIONS with ROB, and that's on YouTube.com. Please subscribe, and I really work hard to get not just political stuff. We've got stuff about service dogs on there. We've got stuff with sports stuff on there. So we've got all kinds of stuff. But obviously, as you know, Ed, my main game is politics, but I try to mix it up. And Ed, I'm not just trying to say this because, I like you and we're friendly with each other, but you are my favorite radio host. I'm glad that I found you within the past 6-7 months on the radio, and I really enjoy your program. And so thank you so much, Ed, for everything that you do, and keep doing it. Keep telling it like it is, because as much as I like telling it like it is, I love when you tell it like it is.
Thank you, brother. You got it. Rob is a terrific caller, terrific podcaster. He'll be back real soon. Go ahead.